AITA for divorcing my stingy husband after 6 months. My husband, 26 meters, and I, 24F, have been married for 6 months, together for 3 years. When we met, it was seemingly as though the stars had aligned and everything was perfect. My family loved him and his family loved me, and we built a great network of friends around us. Where we're from, it's common for adults, men and women, to continue living with their parents until they get married, so that's what we were both doing. At the time, he was working a decent job for his age and skill level, while I was doing some freelance work and trying to build a business because where we live, I'm not legally allowed to work as foreign woman despite being highly overqualified. Anyway, fast forward to 3 months before the wedding, I got distracted trying to plan everything. His family wanted a big wedding, and we spent a lot of time looking for a place and furnishing it. We split everything in half, but legally, he's required to pay rent, although once I was making enough I fully intended on splitting 50-50. It was stressful, but we eventually got through. However, my plans to launch my business got pushed back and I had to postpone taking on any new clients until after we're settled. Once we started living together, the problems began. He almost never helped out with household chores or anything, so I would end up spending hours each day doing so. He also expected dinner to be ready by the time he got home, but didn't like it when I worked after he's back, so I almost never had time to focus on my work. And despite making it abundantly clear that I had no intention of ever becoming a housewife, it seemed like I unintentionally found myself in the role. The issue is that he expected me to do all the homemaker duties without fulfilling any of his breadwinner responsibilities. He would constantly bring up that he pays the rent and pays the bills. He would always blindside me by getting groceries without me so he can pick and choose what he deems necessary without taking into account that I have to deal with cooking and using what he bought for the house. He would argue with me for hours whenever I'd ask him for money to pay my phone bill or get a cup of coffee when out with friends. Mind you, I never asked him to take me shopping, for instance, and he never has. Yet he was perfectly fine splurging on himself every month as soon as his paycheck came in. When I suggested a grocery budget of around $200 per month, he told me it was too much and asked me to cut it down. So for a while all we ate was chicken, tuna, and eggs for dinner. Eventually, he told he's been dealing with some debt due to all the wedding expenses 6 months prior, but 2 days later went on to buy himself a new luxury watch. He also doesn't support me emotionally, mentally, or professionally, and constantly minimizes what I do despite the fact he knows well I'm on a road to success. I have brought up my concerns in every way possible and tried to find every solution for our problems, but he never seemed to care or listen. A few weeks ago we had a big fight and I blew up everything by telling my family, who were shocked by everything I told them and think divorce now is better than once kids are involved. Since the fight, he said he'd been working on himself and towards fixing our issues, and said that it's only been 6 months and that I should give our marriage a chance. I'm not sure I have any more chances left to give. So, AITA for blowing up the marriage only 6 months after saying our vows. Edit to clarify a few points. Yes, I legally can't work where I live. I can't say where, but that's the situation as it is. I live here because I was born and raised here, moved to the US for university for 4 years, worked and paid my own bills, then moved back after graduating. Yes, I applied for jobs all over the world and considered all my options. It's easy to judge someone's decisions when you have a Western passport, but I don't. Yes, we discussed all these things before marriage, and we were supposedly on the same page, but you don't know until you live with someone. No, we can't live together before marriage, that's just how our culture is, although I wish that weren't the case. No, I'm no leech and would never expect someone to pay for my lifestyle, if a decent dinner is called lifestyle. If it were up to me I'd have postponed the wedding a year till my business hits the ground running, but our culture looks down upon long relationships without marriage. He didn't pay the wedding expenses himself, and I confirmed 1,000,000 times if he's capable, which he said he was. I brought up postponing the wedding multiple times and he refused. We paid half of everything leading up to the wedding. Groom and family pays for the wedding, bride and family pays for the engagement and legal ceremony, we made sure they cost the same. I didn't want a big wedding, his family did, and I did everything I can to keep costs as low as possible without getting help. My company is in the creative industry. I have a decent enough following that I'm soon going to monetize. I built a team of some of the smartest people I know. I registered in my home country and operate online, overseas, so nothing illegal is taking place. We're about to sign our first client at 6 figures. I didn't complain about chores and did my homemaker duties in silence because I knew I wasn't contributing financially. But after he mentioned his debt, I doubled down on my working hours, 10 to 12 active working, not scrolling, so I can move things along to pay off his debt. To those saying chores don't take hours, good for you for being efficient, but given my lack of financial contribution, I wasn't going to allow someone to say, she's keeping him in an unclean home, so yes, it took me hours. As many have pointed out, there's a lot of cultural aspects in the situation that I simply can't get into without making this the longest AITA post ever. I can't reply to everyone, but thank you for all the kind words and support you guys have been giving me. I can't express enough how truly shocked I am by the massive support from online strangers I'm receiving. Your advice and support means a lot more than you know. Gonna keep you guys updated lol. P.S. This isn't rage bait, I wish it wasn't.